thank you all for joining in. This is our first Training Tuesday of the month. So as you know, we do about three times a month, and every time that you sign up, or if you sign up for a class during the month, you get entered to win a Google Home device. So thank you all for showing up. I'm glad that we could bribe you into coming in and sitting in on the class. This is going to be about 30-45 minutes. I'm going to show you some products and run through some slides, but let's begin. So RCI Products, who are these guys? What do they do? This slide right here perfectly depicts who RCI is, the one throat to choke, meaning they are basically the one-stop shop for everything, not only with access control, but also some mechanical hardware as well. These guys provide access control devices. They provide electric strikes. They provide power transfers, exit devices, lock sets, and things like that. What we're going to focus on today is going to more be the magnetic locks, the electric strikes, cabinet locks. I'm going to show you some power transfers and that sort of thing. So, the product overview for RCI. Rutherford Controls International Corporation. They're a Canada-based corporation that started back in the 1920s. They've been around for a long time. J. Shellard Rutherford, he started a hardware store and basically wanted to be able to supply electronic products and also some other products. And from that, he started innovating his own products. He had a lot of foresight. He started providing products not only via stock, but electrical products and supplies. So in the 60s, he went from just the electrical goods and supplies and moved more into the distribution of hardware as well. So that's what I was talking about just now with the exit devices, the lock sets, things like that. So now RCI is part of Dormakaba. They now are going to be focusing on electronic access control products such as strikes, magnetic locks, rack locks, things like that. So whenever you contact those guys, if you haven't contacted them yet, here are your contacts: John, Stella, Suzanne. Stella is your primary contact for quotes and that sort of thing. Suzanne also is going to help with that. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, just send it to me and I'll be sure to forward it on, get you your pricing, and get it back to you as soon as possible. If you have any questions on strikes, if you have installation questions, John is your man to go to. And with that being said, all things, orders, quote requests, things like that can be sent to sales@rci@dormakaba.com. So what are we doing today? You know, whenever I first started in the industry, I was used to a certain brand of manufacturer, and most of you are pretty comfortable with that brand, HES, and also Von Duprin, their electric strikes. And I hadn't really ever worked with RCI. I didn't know who they were and that sort of thing. So just like what I'm doing today, I had to educate myself and learn who these people were. And after doing so, I found out quite a bit of things, and one of them being the quality of the product. These guys build electric strikes not only for themselves, but also for other manufacturers. And their quality is top-notch. So today, we're going to talk about the brand. We're going to build that up. We're going to show you guys products. And hopefully, at the end of it, you have a little bit more awareness. And hopefully, that turns into, you know, orders and specifying those on projects, that sort of thing. So not only are we going to educate you via virtual web, but whenever this whole mess of, you know, the current state of America goes past us, we really like to get in, show you guys in person what the strikes are, what they're all about, show you some demos of the strike, but also do some hands-on cutting in of some strikes as well. We can do that at your facility. We can do it outside. We can do it in the shop. But the point being is we are here to help you understand how an electric strike is prepped into a hollow metal frame, how it's prepped into a wood frame or an aluminum frame, and how easy it is to retro an existing frame that has no prep or an existing frame that has just a standard ASA prep, and utilize that frame to better understand the product and install some electric strikes without having to go through a big rigorous process. We're going to go through some of the products. With this slide deck, instead of explaining how the cells work and more background on RCI and that sort of thing, we just dig right into the products and show you what they're made of. I'll go through the slides, but we're going to do just like we do every week. We're going to see the slide, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you hands-on what it looks like. There is one electric strike that I won't be able to show you today, and that's the vertical rod strike, but hopefully with the slide we can explain it good enough to where you can understand it. And if you need a sample, if you want to see it later, we can definitely do. Why choose RCI? RCI is very competitively bid. Those guys would like the opportunity to quote any project that you have. All of their products are installer friendly. They provide a lot of the tools that are necessary to install the product. The simple tools, not a drill or anything like that, but the very simple tools like a hex bit and that sort of thing. So that way you can install it on site without having to have a specialty tool. All the components made ANSI grade 1. They're all high component or high quality, high grade components. Like I said, the hex sockets are provided, and that's the tool that's used to actually attach it to the frame. We provide installation templates, and we also offer installation courses, which we talked about just a little while ago. So in every one of your RCI books, both in the product catalog and also online in the digital catalog, you'll see on, and while we're talking, I'm trying to find it as well, but you'll see in the catalog that they have the cross-reference for their competitors, and they also have the a product guide to install those. So what it looks like, and it's going to be on page 34 and 33 of your catalog. I'll show you now. So let me stop sharing, and so hopefully you can see this up close. But basically, it's a frame and lock reference guide. It'll show you what the frame is and what strikes go on that frame. And so on the next couple slides, we're going to see this up close. But basically, it shows you each series of electric strike, and then it shows you what those applications are designed for. So going back to this. So like I was saying, take a look at the strike cross-reference guide. So the first one, the 0 series, is it's the RIM strike, and that's for RIM exit devices. Here are the different types of RIM strike. You have the 0161, the 0162, and then next to it you'll see what that crosses over against. And so the 0162 is equivalent to HES's 9600. But also take a look at how those two strikes, which the 9600 is one of the most common strikes on the market today, look at it compared to Allegion's 6112. Neither one of those cross over to the 6112. And HES, they don't have an equivalent to the 6112 from Von Duprin. But as you can see with RCI, the 0161 crosses over to Allegion's electric strike. So not only do they have a conversion for the 9600 from HES, but they also have a conversion for the 6112 and then the 310, which is a very common commodity style strike from Folger Adams. They have the conversion for both of those products. Moving down, the F1 series, the 1114, which is that's the stainless, and we're going to look at this in a second, but it's the stainless steel ANSI strike, and it crosses over to the 6211 from Von Duprin, and then they also have a wood frame version of that in the 1119. So the other part of it, if you were looking at the 0 series, the 0161, what application would that be good for? And it shows you that it will go on wood, aluminum, and hollow metal. It will not fit for a mortise exit device. It will not fit on a cylindrical lock, but it will fit on a rim exit device with a Pullman latch. The 0162, same thing. Won't go on a mortise exit device, and for that matter, it won't go on a mortise lock either. It won't go on a cylindrical lock, but it does go on an exit device. So you take these and you cross this over with the application that you're trying to fit in. I have a hollow metal exterior frame that has a mortise exit device leading out. Which of these strikes could I use to be able to accommodate that? And so you scroll down, you find that you have that hollow metal frame, and then you see that the all-in-one strike, or the F2164, is going to be the application to help me in that situation. So this is going to be a quick list. It's nothing really to show, but it does show what products are sold the most. And as you can see, the 2164 or the all-in-one strike is their most popular. And then we move down to magnetic locks and that sort of thing. So I'm not going to spend much time on this product line, but they do stock these items. They also do build these to order, and this shows what products are the most popular. So here's going to be the show and tell portion of the exercise, just like I talked about earlier. So this is the number one, the F2164 all-in-one series. It's the 2 series. So this strike right here, just like it says, versatile strike design to work with most locks, and it says most locks because as you saw earlier, it does not work with a Pullman style latch, which is what you saw in the exit device. It has an adjustable deadbolt keeper, which I'm going to show you that in just a second. And it accommodates up to a 1-inch deadbolt night, and that's in the night latch function only because the bolt will not release. The most important thing, have you guys ever noticed whenever you go up to an office building or an exterior and you see a product from some of the other manufacturers, you notice that at the door, if you just touch on the frame, that frame is really warm, and sometimes they're really hot. You'll notice that on exit devices that have a solenoid drive, where the exit device itself is extremely hot where the solenoid is, and it's because it's having to work to keep that material running. You don't get that with RCI's electric strike. The solenoid runs cool, and the way that it's designed, it just doesn't heat up the way that others do. Some of the basics: 2 million cycle operation. It's only offered in brushed stainless steel or 32D finish. Just like I said earlier, it's ANSI grade 1, UL 294 listed for access control. Accessories: UL 1034 for burglary resistance, and UL 10C for 3-hour fire rating. So it's rateable up to 3 hours, and it's their all-in-one Big Daddy strike. So let's look at it. Let's take a look at this strike, so that way you can see what it looks like. So the strike right here is designed just like most other strikes, but something that you're going to find different. The Von Duprin has these little bitty shims that come around. You stick them in, and then you screw them on from the inside. You screw them on just like this here. HESs, instead of doing any of that, you use different face plates to accommodate. But this one's a little bit different. You see, this is the for the deadlock, and it fits in wherever you need it. So you install your strike, and then wherever your deadlock is or wherever your latch is, you adjust this to accommodate that. This also adjusts up and down to accommodate different styles of locks. So say you had a lock with a keeper. So your latch will be right here, and then your deadlock will be up here. Or say you had a storeroom style lock, which would be just this right here, like this, and it would look just like this. And how it's accomplished is these little geared ridges right here. So once you fit it in, it fits into place and it stays locked in, until it operates. And so what does it look like in operation mode? Here's the strike right here. And this right here indicates that it does come with a door status or a latch bolt monitor. And so as you can see, as you press the latch bolt, the green light comes on, and that indicates that yes, the latch is engaged, it's inside the strike, and it's working properly. If you activate the strike, the keeper right here folds back. So instead of having one little gauge or even solenoids like you would with the 9600, this is just one gate, and it works just like this. So once the power is released, it goes back into locking position. Very simple, very easy to use, easy to wire up, and something that it does come with is it's all in one. So you have the faceplate for mortise lock applications, and then you also have the centerline strike for a standard cylindrical lock, passage sets, things like that.
Hey Justin, what's the Hess number that's equivalent to?
The 1006. This is equivalent to the HES 1006. So with HES, what you find is where this faceplate is removed, and it looks like this, they're going to give you 30 different faceplates to accommodate every single type of lock set that's on the market, except for exit devices. We don't do that. It seems a little bit too complicated to have all those different faceplates, having to figure out the application, that sort of thing. So instead, we use this the same way that another manufacturer on the market does, Von Duprin, but they use a shim style, and you move this around to accommodate the different styles of locking applications that you have. So instead of having a million different faceplates, it's just all in one. You just move this up and down, and you're able to accommodate numerous styles of locks. I think you can do 27 different styles of lock sets. So the next one that we have is the 8310. And instead of going through and giving you guys another slide, I'm just going to give you the product. So the 8310 is rated up to 800 pounds, I believe. Maybe it's 1,200 pounds, excuse me. The mini mag is 800 pounds that we'll see in just a second. But here is your magnet. Just like most other manufacturers, one thing that is a little bit different for these guys is look at the way that you install this product. It's extremely different compared to other manufacturers. So instead of having to remove this and do all kinds of drilling and things like that, you're able to loosen these off and hang it just like you would it's keyhole style hanging. So just like you would a picture at home or something like that, you would hang it the exact same way. You have a big fat portion here, and then you have a skinny portion here. So you put your screws in, you slide it on, and you're done. With that being said, you have 1,200 pounds of holding force. You can use all the other hole patterns to fit your application and install this. This is used at perimeter style doors where you're going to want to have high security and things like that, and outswing doors only. So you can use it at the interior for a place where you need something extra durable, heavy duty, that sort of thing. This does come in different models, and I'll show you that in just a second. It does come in different models where you can get it with a door position switch built in. You can get it with a status sensor. built in, and I'll show you. It's on the mini mag, but it's the exact same thing. So you see this right here? This will light up red or green to show you that the door is either closed and good, or if it's in red, it shows you that either the door is open or that there's not good contact. And so here's what it looks like. Let me share my screen. So the LED indicator, just like I was talking about just now, lights up red if there is a, if either the door is open or if you don't get good connectivity. And that is the SCS option. And then you have the DSS option, or the door status sensor option. And what that does is it will relay back to the panel saying that yes, the door is in fact closed, or no, it is not closed. We also have the delayed egress version, the 8310. I do not have a sample of that, so I apologize. There's, I guess, two things that I didn't have a sample of. But this has a built-in sensor that once pressure is applied, you can set it to either 15 or 30 seconds to release after that delay. It does come with an optional audible alarm. And when you purchase the DE8310, you also get with it a key switch. The key switch is very common. It's a very common device. The 960 key switch, is just a flat metal plate with a LED sensor on the top that either shows red or green, depending on how you turn the cylinder. But it's a single pole, double throw relay. It's very standard. The next one is the 0162. This is one of my favorite strikes from RCI. And mind you, whenever I say favorite, it's not like going to Marble Slab or something like that and getting cookies and cream ice cream. But as far as access control, this is one of the premier products. It's a little bit different than what you're used to whenever you see Von Duprin or HES, their electric strike, and this is going to be the HES 9600 equivalent. So let's take a look at this up close. I'm going to stop sharing. So looking at this one, the 9600, and I'm just going to give you the bare bones equivalent between the two because they are so much different whenever you look at them. The 9600 has a solenoid here and a solenoid here. And one of the most common problems that you find with rim electric strikes is the dead leg problem. And what happens is over time, that strike's heating up, it's overworked and things like that. One of the solenoids will fail, and most of the time it's going to be the bottom one. And once that bottom one fails, it opens up the latch, which compromises security. It can happen in the middle of the night. It can happen during business hours. It can happen off of business hours. But the point is, it happens, and it happens all the time. And so what do you do to remedy that? Well, you have to go through the MagnaCare warranty process, and then you have to wait until you get an electric strike. And that process could take 1 day. It could take 1 week. It could take 1 month. You don't know until you start that warranty process. Something that's different with these strikes is they use a gate. And what is that gate? Take a look right here. Whenever you engage the electric strike, it's one solenoid that opens up. If it fails, not only do you have a lifetime warranty, but this goes back into locked position, and it stays in the locked position, and it locks this opening down. So you don't lose security. You just lose electronics. You lose that access control capability. You have to then, dog down your exit device or use a key to unlock it. But your building is secure. So if it takes 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month to get you a new electric strike, you at least have peace of mind that the building that you are trying to keep secure is secure. So here's the process of how it works. Just like I was showing you earlier, it's gate design. This also comes with an optional latch bolt monitor. So that way, whenever your X device is engaged, it does show that it is engaged. But very, very standard. So looking at the graphic for it, the 0162 electric strike It accommodates a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch latch projection. So depending on the grade of your X device, it will accommodate both. And it's designed for use with a Pullman latch or a rim exit device. This is completely surface mounted, so there's no preps in the frame, just like any other rim strike, and that goes for standard rim strikes or electrified rim strikes. They're always surface mounted. I think there is one that is not surface mounted. You have to prep that little hole in the middle. So looking more at this strike, it does have lockdown holes. It has adjustability holes at the top and the bottom, so you can move that electric strike in and out. What are those used for? So whenever your building settles and you have to do yearly maintenance on your facility, you'll find that both mechanical strikes and also electrified strikes, the rim X device is going to move. It's going to move because the door is shifted, because the building is settled, and so these are used to accommodate for that movement. It's not going to accommodate it completely. So if your door is a 1/2 inch out or something along those lines, you're going to need to, one, call your contractor, but two, you're going to want to readjust that door to where it's back into compliance. And once that's been done, this will adjust to accommodate any small variations that are in your frame. But once that's done, you have the ability at the center two holes to lock that down to where you at least know that the strike is not going to. So the mini mag, what does it look like? I showed you a little bit earlier, but I'm going to show you. We have two of them. One of them with the LED indicator, which is right here, and one that's standard mini mag. This is going to be on. This right here is used primarily for interior and sometimes exterior doors where you want security, but you need it in a little bit more low profile sense. This is only going to be 750 pounds of holding force. So the strength of this is a lot less, or 350 pounds less than the standard multi-mag. But if you need a low profile at narrow style doors or something along those lines, this is going to be the way to go for that. This does come, the optional LED, which is right here. And basically that LED is going to show the person that's on the other side that yes, that door is locked. No, that door is unlocked. It's good to go. So once you've presented your credential, you'll see that the light will turn green. You're able to open that door. Or if you present your credential and it stays red, you know that you've either been fired or you need to present it again. The 8371, the Surface Mini Mag. This, just like I said, has the LED, has the option to put the door status sensor on it, to where you can monitor from your panel if the door is closed, if it's not closed, that sort of thing. So now let's look at the low profile centerline strike. But basically the low profile centerline strike, this strike right here is going to be equivalent to the 8000 series from HES. And this one does come with different styles of faceplates, and they're all centerline style. So what does that mean whenever I say centerline style? What I mean is these are all designed for a cylindrical lock. The cylindrical lock is going to have a 5/8 inch latch or a 1/2 inch latch, depending on the grade of your lock set. But you want to be able to only use this for a cylindrical lock because it's going to be very hard for you to line up and accommodate in a standard ASA or ANSI strike for a mortise lock. So if you have a door with the center line of 40 and 5/16 above finished floor, and your door is 40 and 5/16 above finished floor, the cylindrical lock and this will work perfectly. It's made with different styles of faceplates to accommodate wood frames, aluminum frames, and that sort of thing. This does come with a latch bolt monitor, so that's also an option. And I want to show you, even though I don't have one, I want to show you what that looks like with a centerline strike. This is pretty close to the centerline strike. This is the CL series. But look, take a look at this. This is what the door position switch looks like, or the latch bolt monitor, excuse me. And what it does is whenever it's engaged like this, the green light or the status indicator will come on, and it shows that the door latch is in fact inside the strike. This is going to be on this strike as well. So just like all the other ones, this one will be pretty much the same. It just looks different here. So mind you, if you want to see a sample of this, let me know. But how does it work? It works pretty much in the same way as this. It's a gate that's inside of the ASA, because you're not going to do any cutouts or anything like that. So you need to have a different style of gate. This one's inside. So once you've engaged it, take a look at how it works. You see that? It presses out that latch to be able to push it out so you can open your door. It's not the standard gate that swings open like the 1006 from HES or the F2164 from RCI or the 6200 from Von Duprin. This is a little bit different. It pushes it out. And why does it do that with a cylindrical lock? It does that so that way you don't have to go past the ASA strike to be able to get past that door. So if you have a storeroom lock set, a mechanical lock set, you'll use this to be able to open and close that door via the electric strike. So the 991, very, very common switch. It's just a standard switch. I don't know how much I can tell you about the switch other than it's pushed out. We do have products because this is a very common product, but you'll see that the 910TC is another product that we use, and that's wave to exit. So where you have this push to exit, which is common, it's still used if you want to get into a hands-free situation. You know, either use your elbow or arm, but you can also, we also have products that are just wave. This one's a little bit different. So take a look at this one where you have the same gate style that you get in the 0162. You have a plunger that comes out of this one. So this one, again, accommodates a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch latch projection. It has the same spacers that you would find in the 0162. It's a little bit different with that little bitty punch, or that little bitty, here it is. Sorry, I knew I had one. So you see this right here? This is giving this the ability to monitor that latch. So take a look at it. It's angled to give you that latch bolt monitor. So the 0162, the standard, this is the latch bolt monitor version of it. This is something that's really cool. This is going to be more for your customers that do a lot of access control, that work on server rooms and things like that. This is the 3525 rack handle. This is the, basically just a cabinet lock. As you can see right here, it's just a standard cabinet lock, but it has a lever on it. It's lockable, and something that's really cool with it is it shows you that it is locked with an LED indicator. Yes, it's green, it's locked, or red. No, it's not locked, and it's unsecure. But it also comes with a prox version to where you can actually tie this into your access control system and monitor who's going in and out of your computer or your server racks. Excuse me. There's a big use for those rack locks. Everyone has a server room. Every business has a server room and things like that. And very key point, it's activated via any third-party access control system. How is that possible? Well, as smart as having a proximity reader is, this is a very dumb lock, and basically it just takes direction. You either tell it yes, they are clear to open, or no, they do not have access. And all of that is controlled via the proximity reader and via the access control panel. So it will tie into anybody's access control system. The rocker switch, this is a very common item. It fits underneath a person's desk, and it looks just like this, and just like it implies, rocks back and forth. So basically, if you're at a school or an office building where you can see outside and someone is asking for access, saying, "Hey, I'm okay to come in. Please let me in. I don't have an access card." The person at the other end says, "Okay, I think Jim was in here earlier, so I'll let him in." And they just push this button. Very common switch, and it will allow control for that person. It is hardwired. This is not a wireless version. It is hardwired. So it's very, very easy product. So 910TC is what I was talking about earlier. I don't have a light up sample of it, but basically the LED either is in blue, it changes to red. It also goes into green. But basically this switch is hands-free. It's touchless. You wave to whenever you would like access. So this is primarily used, in my opinion, in hospitals and facilities such as that, where you are going through pass-through openings and you need help opening that door. I mean, it can also be used in any place where you have a push button, but any place where you just push to get out. Exteriors, hospitals, office buildings that are that need to meet ADA compliance, that have a auto operator at the top. You just wave to go by. And, it says okay, and it opens up the auto operator, or opens up the auto operator, and it opens up the electric strike, and it allows you access. This is a very, very popular product that's becoming more popular, and I think you guys know why it's becoming popular. But as we move into an environment that is hands-free and away from, germs, bacteria, common surfaces, this is a product that is helping reshape the market. So the VR165. This is one of the products that I was telling you about earlier that I did not have a sample of, but there's two versions, this one and this one. One is used with a Pullman latch, which is this one right here. So surface vertical rod, concealed vertical rod. This one fits. This one is mortised into the frame at the head, and it looks just like a standard concealed vertical rod strike. This one right here is surface applied, so it's going to be more for your surface vertical rods. But this allows a person that has a vertical rod exit device the ability to now make that a smart opening, I guess. And so how does it do that? Prox reader to get in, and it tells the strike that yes, you can gain access. You pull on the pull for the exit device, and you've gained access. Where you see in the past, you'd have either motorized latch retraction, or solenoid latch retraction, or solenoid unlock, or motor unlock, or trim unlock. That's electronic, and it's a very expensive opening, where this is a very inexpensive alternative to that, and it gives you that same security. So that's all that I have.